Good afternoon and welcome to today's session on Indian Bioresource Information Portals. This particular session will have two parts. The first part I will be covering on the biodiversity information system, and where you will be seeing the different kind of bioresource data available in the Geo portal hosted at IIRS. In the second part, my colleague Mr. Kapil Oberoi, he'll be giving you demonstration on one of the important portal on bioresource of India, that is called Indian Bioresource Information Network, where the different kind of data, that is non-special data and special data, available with the different the knowledge institutions in India will be shown to you, and how you can utilize this data for your projects, and all these details will be given by my colleague. So I will start with biodiversity information system. As an introductory point of this particular subject, this biodiversity characterization at landscape level, this was a national level program initiated by Department of Space in collaboration with Department of Biotechnology, and sometime in 1998 time period. The basic objective of this study was basically to generate the vegetation type map of India using the satellite remote sensing data on 1:50,000 scale, and further to develop a model to generate the biological richness area or biological rich area in this country. And we have completed this project in 2011 time period. So around, you can see here, we use the satellite data from resource set 1 and the multi-temporal data to classify the vegetation types in the country. And the basic objective, as I told you about this project, was to identify and map the potential biodiversity rich area in this country. The project had contributed to the scientific understanding, characterizing and interpreting spatial pattern of Indian natural vegetation ecosystem, their disturbance regimes and biological richness. If you try to understand the concept or approach what we have adopted in this project, basically we focus on the plant biodiversity, and the spatial biodiversity characterization we did by using three major inputs. One is a remote sensing, second is field data, and third is a GIS for the modeling activity. When I'm seeing the field remote sensing, by using the remote sensing data, we could identify or we could map the vegetation type of this country and the community zonations. We have done the landscape structure and the spatial habitat definitions, and from the field, where we have done this field sampling of around 16,000 sample plot in this country, and here the data on the habitat, vegetation, natural landscape, community composition, species inventory, diversity index, total value index, and TBI, and the environmental, climatic, topographic informations, flora and fauna, taxonomy evaluations, and knowledge base. So basically, based on the expert knowledge on the area of interest, we generated knowledge base, and this particular knowledge base was used to run the model. In the GIS platforms, we develop a spatial landscape model here, and the spatial landscape model provide you spatial extent, landscape characteristics. Under this landscape characteristics, we have the fragmentation, patchiness, juxtapositions, and then disturbance index or disturbance regime, which is based on the road and setting. So these are the basic inputs required basically to generate the model, and the outcome of these models were basically 5 special outcomes. One is a fragmentation, disturbance index, biological richness, and vegetation type map. So when we did this, a large amount of database for India was generated, and this database on distribution of vegetation type with around 120 classes, which is basic input for identifying the species habitat and serve as a benchmark for further biodiversity related ecological studies, and the disturbance regime assess across the landscape flag as the stress ecosystem, and these all the areas are identified with the different categories like very high zone, moderate and lower category. And after generation of this disturbance index or disturbance regime map, we have also done the modeling for the biological richness, where it lays emphasis on the area which should be treated on priority while formulating the strategies for the conservation of biodiversity. So national inventory of around 7,500 unique plant species is available here, and these are recorded during our field sampling. And these all the data sets, whatever we have generated during this project, is now we have made available as a central data repository, and this is available online through this port URL. What I am displaying here in my screen, this is bis.iirs.gov.in. So completely a centralized data repository, and we developed this system based on the service-oriented architectures, where OGC web services are published for geovisualization and special queries in the WebGIS environment. Whatever data you are seeing in our this particular web page, you will be seeing that this data is also available as a OGC compliant web service. I will be showing you live how you can access these services. And here it's not only WMS, because nowadays most of the time when we are seeing the WebGIS, the WMS based systems are being demonstrated and shown to you. But here the data, whatever you are seeing in the our portal, you can straight to download this data in the GIS-ready format. Since original data source is a raster data, so you can download data in GeoTIFF format, and wherever the vectors are available, especially for the sample plot, so this data also is available for download. And you can also do the visualization, online query and map output generation based on the user request and response. You can decide your own area of interest, or you can upload your save file also, that I am interested in this area, show me the status of biodiversity or status of vegetation type map, biological richness, fragmentation and disturbance and all. So this is typically a mess up architectures based on geo information system. So not only you can see our data set, you can also link the multiple servers here. So I'll be showing you how you can link the multiple servers. It can be any national server where the data sets are available. So automatically it will be part of the system. And the BIS is developed based on the open system architectures with two major components of special data sets and information services. One is a biodiversity spatial viewer, where you can visualize the data, you can query on the data, and also you can overlay your own data on top of the bioresource in the server. Under the data download facility, this is a unique component of this particular scientific portal. Here you can completely download the vegetation type, biological richness, fragmentation and disturbance index maps. And also before downloading, it will also show you the complete status, basically area status of your area where you are interested. So what is the distribution of different classes. And these GIS viewers are developed using the open layer APIs and PSP. It's a completely open system architecture. You can also download the complete source code of BIS portal directly in your local computer, and you can also develop the similar kind of web service for your data sets. It also provides a rich graphical user interface, and which is developed using the GeoEXT APIs. So when it comes to the geoprocessing part, this is one of the uniqueness of this portal. For online geospatial data processing, web processing services specifications are released in 2005 by OGC that incorporate complex spatial process through the standardized service interface based on the HTTP protocol. This was just a history about this WPS, which was launched by OGC. And here you can see some of the notable and updated OGC WPS specification implementation based on SOAR. You can use like PyWPS. So it's basically Python based web processing service. 52 North WPS, that is another framework which is freely available to you. You can also use for your data sets. Another implementation is the Zoo Open WPS platform. It is a recent project in the OSGeo implementations supported by OSGeo. The SOA model permits processes to be available in a transparent way, independent of programming languages and operating system. So it's a completely interoperable platform basically to do the geoprocessing activity at the user end. So here idea is, without having any specific GIS software or specific data sets with you, you can directly perform the geoprocessing activity in the internet browser itself. In case of biodiversity information system, the geoprocessing activity we have achieved basically based on the GDAL and OGR framework. If you see the detailing online space analysis and processing of Indian biodiversity data is WebGIS environment is achieved based on the SOA architectures, and the queries analysis and vector data is achieved through the structure query language. So complete vector and raster data we organize in the RDBMS. So you can fire the SQL and you can generate the GIS compatible outs, and then same SQL output you can present as a GIS layer using WKT or KML or something similar to this. So here the WKT is standard from our side. So we use the PostGIS as a framework to organize our geospatial data, and WFST operations are also implemented here for web feature transaction services, and development of online geoprocessing engine for raster data analysis with expected performance in web browser environment is achieved using the GDAL and OGR and Python PHP. These are the four basic technology what we use in our implementation of the GIS. Little bit on the concept, basically the architecture of the system. Here you can see the complete data sets we are organizing on GeoRDBMS, that is PostGIS and PostGIS, and some of the raster data is still in the files, that is called as the biodiversity file servers. And these data sets using the GIS server, where we are using GeoServer and Map Server product, publishing the OGC web services, and these OGC web services are integrated in BIS application server, where the PHP, Java, OpenLayer API and GeoXT based application is already developed. And parallelly, the raster data processing engine is developed using the PHP and Python, and this is giving outcome as a XML document, and also the extracted files are available for download in the form of TIFF and IMG format. So complete metadata, legends and other definition of the data is given in the XML form, and once it is done, so through the Tomcat server and Apache server, these components are published and available in the internet. I'm going to show you live how they looks like and how you can access these components. This is very important here because this particular portal is one of the unique portal which talks about the geoprocessing. Here the visualization is fine. You will be getting a lot of portals where you can access the WMS in different GIS platform. You can access WMS for visualization and all. But if you see the data processing part, it's very important when your users are basically a GIS professionals. They are willing to use this data basically for processing purpose. So here typical example, just for your understanding, and if you wish to develop similar kind of system, you can develop it. Like how it works basically in the web application, this is a browser based platforms. Basically user will provide the input using the drawing the area of interest. OpenLayer API or user can upload the shape file, and this shape file will be converted to PostGIS geometry. So automatically this process will happen in application server level. Once it is basically converted a POS geometry, because here you see I'm talking about the drawing. You are simply drawing your area of interest, and then we are converting your drawing to the geometry, which is very important. And once geometry is created, it will be pushed to the RDBMS and it will be attached with your login, and then as a one row it will be created. Then using the Python, and we will read this PostGIS geometry, and then based on this geometry the raster based geoprocessing will be done in Python itself. So based on your area of interest, it will extract and it will subset basically the image, and then it will generate the geostatistical output. Basically it will calculate the pixel wise area distribution of each class, and then publish this outcome as XML. So once it is published as XML, so anybody can read it, can present this information in their own web page. But here we are using the same platforms for our BIS web applications. You can present outcome as a report, table, chart, GIS data format also. So it's the same data can be downloaded at the user end. So this is a complete flow how the geoprocessing part is being done in this particular website. Come to the information flow of the multi-user access. Basically, this is complete explanation of that flow chart. Just I will read quickly. The user inputs are accepted as a user-defined drawing in map viewer or existing shapefile and converted as a PostGIS geometry. And the raster analysis are performed based on the geometry using GDAL and OGL library for Python. The map data of this study contains approximately 20 GB of size for each data layer. You can see here I'm talking about the 5 layers, then total around 100 GB data can be processed at a time. So it developed geoprocessing engine using Python, PostGIS and PSP for raster data analysis over the web, and complete outcomes are presented to the users. So these are the basically data sets what you can get here. It's like vegetation type map of India, around 120 vegetation types, habitats, disturbance regimes, fragmentation, biological richness, and species database for with geolocation information. So these are the basically outcomes. You can see the different data sets like vegetation type map. We have the fragmentation, disturbance index, and biological richness. So as the atlas I'm showing you here. So this I'm going to show you live. Quickly I will skip the slide. This also will see the live. Here you see here basically this data download facility what I am showing you is similar to the Bhuvan what I was showing you, but that was based on the vector, but here I am talking about the raster. The raster data processing using the scripting language is basically a challenge, but if you use the Python kind of platforms or Python language, so server side script you can write for geoprocessing and you can present your outcome into JavaScript or client side scripting language. The same thing we have adopted here. You can see how it can be done. You can navigate or you can draw your area of interest. You can also upload the save file, and based on this this way the outcome will be presented to you. Simply you have to create your username and then outcome will be shown to you. You can see here, for example, this particular part area of interest is drawn, and you can choose you are interested to apply this processing for vegetation, disturbance or fragmentation and BR and so on. So it will do the clip, ship, zip operations, class-wise area statistics, single to multi-layer operations, diagrammatic representation of your outcomes. So completely pie chart will be displayed to you. So around we have tested this single server configuration around 8 GB RAM and GeoM processor, around 1000 concurrent user can satisfy, and they can generate the outcomes. If you see the utilization of this data and information services, I'm just displaying you the list of some of the organizations in India, those who have taken this data sets. And as per the data download is concerned, around thousands data products per year are getting downloaded because it's a very specific or theme specific website. So people are downloading this data, especially those are studying the forests or they are studying in the bioresource related topics. They will be our users. You can see here the forest working plan purpose, different states like Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Uttarakhand and so on. They have used this data, and in fact officially also we transfer this data. You can also see the list of this organization. It's a very big list, but some of the major organizations I'm trying to show you here. So how the people have used for different state also is shown here, like Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh and so on. Some of the sample outcomes are displayed down. So this is all about the portals. Now I will show you the websites directly. So this is our website. I hope now it is visible to you. I'll wait for some time if it is not getting loaded. Yeah, fine. So let me try. I will try to open this website now. Yeah, so this is our website. I typed the bis.iirs.gov.in. So in this website you can download the full report. Basically, first I can show you the down links where my mouse is moving here. It's a full national report readily available for download in the PDF format. If you see the introduction of site itself, it says that here you are going to get the special data on 1:50,000 scale for the entire India, and the vegetation type, fragmentation, disturbance index, and biological richness. These are the four major special product for entire India. You can download or you can have a look on that. You can also get here the species database and the phytosociological database for 16,000 plus sample plots. So when I'm saying this 16,000 plus sample plots, it talks about around 7,500 unique species. So you can see the distribution of these species in the data viewer itself. The complete documents are available, and also you can understand the methodology, how this project was executed, and this complete details are there, and the some literature on the different understanding of the classifications using the satellite data. So how it looks like in satellite data and how what is in ground, and different classes also vegetation type. You can see the level 3 classification. This particular list is available, and this is for the basically for the vegetation type. I hope you are getting this list, and also given a very detailed approach how we have laid down this field sample plots. The sampling approach also is listed here. This also you can get it, and also the modeling approach, how model was developed, basically by taking the some landscape parameters like landscape, disturbance index, terrain complexity, species richness, biodiversity value, and ecosystem uniqueness and all. And a full flow chart of model also is displayed here. You can see how to do the modeling activity for the disturbance index and biological richness. This full details are available here on the website. You can also see the results, major outcomes, what are findings of this research, who are the collaborators. One very important contribution of this project is basically around 300 plus scientists and researchers are contributed in this program, and I can say around more than 50 PhD as outcomes, and more than 250 research publications in peer-reviewed journals. So these all things are listed here, and these are the partner institutions in India, those have contributed in this program. And data download facility, of course, link is also provided here. If you see the special data viewer, where the biodiversity maps and the vegetation type and so on are available, you can see here this is a map viewer where you can switch on and switch off the different layers. Right now I just overlay the vegetation type map. If you wish to see the legend, just I am removing all the boundaries and all, only keep the state boundary here. I hope you are getting it, and if you wish to keep the vegetation type map with legend, so left side you can see your legends are also getting loaded. So this will be simple data visualization. You can search for any area in the country, so tools are provided like search places. So if you click on the tool like search places and start typing the name of the place where you wish to see the this biological richness, thus I search for the Dehradun region. So now I am near to in Dehradun regions, Uttarakhand. I hope the map is visible to you also. So you can also overlay the road networks. So major roads will be displayed. You can major rivers, rail, major location also. All these points you can overlay here. So this is just a visualization of the map. Now if you wish to understand how the classes are identified or classified on the map, so what you can do, you can link any satellite data here. For linking of the satellite data, generally we will suggest you to take any service from portal like Bhuvan, where you can simply take the WMS and then you can overlay here. During the Bhuvan demonstration time, I have shown you how the Bhuvan satellite data can be accessed as a WMS from this some URL is given. So if you click there and bring this URL in this website, basically on the I hope it's getting loaded. So I hope I have URL. I will just paste it here. So I can add this server. So if you see here, this is server, and I can simply link it. So it will try to connect that server. Once it is connected, the list of services available from that server will be displayed here. So I think there is some activity issue. Okay, we'll come back on this visualization part. It is taking time to load Bhuvan's. Maybe internet service is slow. Again, we'll try it. So we'll add a server. If you click on add server, you can connect any server, not necessary Bhuvan only. So that server will be connected, and then you can overlay that satellite data and as a background image of your vegetation type map. What I'm trying to do here. So I'm trying to connect it. So here I hope you are able to see it. So you can see vegetation type down the satellite image from the Bhuvan portal. So what you can do, you can, when you are overlaying the data, you can go to any location, okay, and then down the satellite image will be loaded of the your vegetation type map or whatever layer you are trying to. So you can do the some basic visualization facility, like you can set the transparency of the layer, and then you can do the swapping activity. I hope in my background you can see very nicely this tool is working. In AView, if it is I think speed is not good, you will be getting some breaks. But what I am trying to do is basically the swapping utility on the your satellite data and top of this vegetation data. So you can study any area this way. Right now I'm just displaying to the, I think, Delhi regions. You can do this kind of visualization. This is a tool available readily here. Then you can do the some important queries, like you can overlay the biological richness on top of the vegetation type. When I'm seeing the vegetation biological richness, it gives you information about low, moderate, high, and very high biological rich areas. So these areas, like if dark green color, if you are getting somewhere, like here say the moderate, or maybe you further zoom it. So here the changes you can always visualize. So this way you can do. Then further, what you can do, you can always overlay the data from biodiversity server, like sample plots. I hope are visible. So these sample plot also you can make a query. You can search for either you can say that show me all the sample plot where the high biological richness is available. So it is going to display you this information. So I hope now it is visible to you. So all the sample plot data sets. So you can right click on the layer like point, and then you can apply the filter, like you can say that I am show me the all the sample plots where the vegetation type or vegetation code something is there, or medicinally high values are there, all these filter you can apply here. So of course the identify tool will give you a lot of information about the data sets. Basically this way it will go. So please explore it. You'll be getting a lot of information on bioresources, and then also data download facility here. If you click on this, it's a very simple utility. What you can do here, you can simply log in. Here down the create login account is one page is given to you. So once it is done, so your account will be immediately created. So you can give your username and then password. Then I can do this reading of CAPTCHA. So now this is the utility. So simply what you have to do, you have to draw an area of interest. It will take little time based on the size of area, and you can choose that I am interested in vegetation type and search and submit the request. That's all. Once it is done, then you can download this data and also you can analyze the area of interest. So now I will stop here because the next part of this session will be for the Indian Bioresource Information Network. So my colleague will continue this session, and I'm just closing the this particular part here.
I will be now taking you through the demonstration for the Indian Bioresource Information Network. Harish sir have earlier covered about one other WebGIS based portal that is running from IERS, which was Biodiversity Information System. This is another such portal that is again hosted and maintained at IERS. It's called as the Indian Bioresource Information Network. Before getting into the demonstration, let me first brief you about a background of the Indian Bioresource Information Networks. So unlike BIS, which was a centralized repository of the biodiversity related data sets, this is a decentralized database related to bioresources based on the distributed architecture. It works on the principle of spatial data infrastructure, wherein data sets which are distributed, held by the different, we call as bioresource information centers or BRICS, are accessed through a single portal or a single gateway or a window, which we call as the Indian Bioresource Information Network. The goal of the Indian Bioresource Information Network was basically to provide, as I mentioned earlier, a single window through which all the resources related to the bioresource are available through a single dashboard or a gateway interface. The other thing was also to promote the integration and sharing of the data sets that is lying with the different agencies, and then putting them into a one information portal where other people can be able to access using a one interface. The URL of the Indian Bioresource Information Network is www.ibin.gov.in. Now in this there are the concept of core nodes and we call as the BRICS. So if you look at the bottom, so this is the home page of Indian Bioresource Information Network. I'm going straightway to the down side where we have mentioned BRICS, which is stand for Bioresources Information Centers. To the extreme left and the right, we have the University of Agriculture Sciences and IERS. So University of Agriculture Sciences provide the species related data, whereas IERS provides the spatial related data that is coming again from the biodiversity characterization project. Now there are other information center. As I said, this is a distributed system where the data sets held by different agencies are coming to in a single window. So so one agency, FRLHT, is serving the medicinal data. Then we have the IHPT. Then we also have the NEHU, which is providing parasites related data. The A-tree, which is providing some biodiversity maps and checklist. And the Calcutta University, which is providing the chromosomes related data sets. Again, it is a Department of Biotechnology funded project. So if I go to if you open this URL, you will get this kind of an interface. If you go, you can go to the about section and read about the IBIN concept, whatever I have shared earlier, the whole the purposes and which are the different bricks that are contributing different datasets to this portal. Now if I come back to the portal, you can see some sections here. So I can either browse through using tags like biodiversity, bioresources, conservation, or a toolkit, or I can also browse the datasets based on different themes. For example, I can click on the species and get the species related data. I can click on this maps tab and get the species related data distribution based on the map based interface. We can get the list of the chemicals, the checklists that are available for different resources, and this is an important section which you call as a field guide. Now this is for the bioresources people who want to identify some kind of a different species, so we have provided a kind of a field guide, so based on that they can identify the particular species. Now first I'm going straight away to the species section. Now you'll get a interface like this. Now there on the top there are 5 tabs, so this is all species, or you can look only for the particular plant species, or you can also click on this and click on the animal related species and then go to the flora and fauna. Finally it is a fauna. So on the top you can search by the species type, and within the species type again you can filter based on the alphabet. For example, all the species starting with letter A, B, and so on. Apart from that, you can also search to narrow down to a particular kind of species for which you want the more details. You can search either by the scientific name or the common name, and some text you can also filter. So we can do a textual based pattern search and then give you the particular species. Now suppose if I click on a particular species, you can either search or on based on your catalog also you can go one by one. So if I click on a particular species, you'll get the photograph and some information related to the species along with the kind of a copyright thing telling which brick or a agency has contributed this data sets. For example, in this case, in this species, it is available in these kinds of biological zones. On the left, you can see the different table of content, which means related to this species, information is available on these aspects. For example, I can click on the description and view the description about this particular species. I can go back again to the top. Similarly, if I want to look for the distribution spatially, so we can also see where it is occurring and also the source through which this kind of data set is available. The other thing you can see on the top, there are other links available. For example, if I click on the multimedia tab, I will get some other information, other images related to the same species. Again, there is an option of searching by type and brick, so that you can narrow down to the particular agency who is providing that data sets. You can also click on the maps and then view that on a graphical based interface. Similarly, you can also go to the resources tab. Sorry, there is some problem with the link, I feel. And then you can go to the biology or uses, so you can know about, sorry, I think there is some issue. So basically, if you click on this, you can get some more details and the agency or the source who is providing such data sets. Now the other thing is the whole of the data sets rest with the agencies. So here we are using the concept of services. So data is coming from there, and only we are able to use the services being generated on the top of those data sets. So there are a lot of images that are there. So you can use a page view, paging kind of a control, and you can move to the next and the other pages. And to go back to the interface, we can click on this IBIN logo and can move back to the home page. Similarly, next we can click on the maps section, so which provide the species distribution over a map based interface. Now since we are dealing with the Geo Web Services courses, so here let me spend some time and maybe talk a little bit about the technology being used behind for the development of this portal. Similar on the lines of BIS, again it is an open source based tools that we use for the development of this IBIN portal. The framework we are using CMS is called as a Joomla. We are using as a CMS, and for the map based interface, which is generally the course that is running, so we are using GeoEXT for creating this kind of a mashup kind of an interface. Our data sets reside in the Postgres and PostGIS for serving those spatial layers. And then most of the page creation is handled by the CMS, which I said is Joomla. Again, in a map-based interface like this, so there are many sections. For example, on the left, you have a species name section. So you can search for a species name and then view the distribution on the map. Coming to the map on the right hand side, the interface, so we have common GIS tool sets again. Now this is the GeoEXT that we have integrated with the Joomla. So you have a pan control, the typical zoom controls, full extent, you can measure and length. Now if I click on this drop down, you can see that there are different layers that are coming. So this is just like sir has taught maybe earlier. So this is a typical mashup kind of an architecture where the different services from different agencies are able to visualize on a common platform. So we are using a Google Physical as a base map. There is also an option of integrating, as I said, there are two components here. One is the spatial and the non-spatial data sets. So IRS is the core node for the spatial data sets, wherein the output from that biodiversity characterization projects, the 4 layers, for example, vegetation type map, segmentation, disturbance index, and biological richness is coming. Now for publishing these layers, we are using GeoServer and then publishing as a WMS. So if you can click on this, so you can load the vegetation type map. Similarly, we have also put a link for the Bhuvan WMS service. So this is a free WMS service. You can go to the Bhuvan web page. On the right hand side, there is a link for accessing or getting the URL for accessing the WMS service of Bhuvan. And then you can integrate with this GeoEXT interface. Now coming to this search map-based species module, so I can search for a species name. All I need to do is type the first 3 characters of a species, and then automatically through Ajax, the suggested species will automatically be appearing, and I can click on that and click on the search button. It will do an Ajax-based query and give me the result. Now looking at this, you can see if I click on the details, I can know the more details about that particular species. So I can again go back to the same interface where I can look at the multimedia, the names, the resources, the biological usage, all along with the attribution related information. Now similarly, if I click on the attribution, so I can find out which is the source through which this data is being contributed. Clicking on the add to map button, I can add this species layer onto the map. Now as I said, that IRS is the core node for the species data sets, and the data that we are sharing as part of the core node are the 4 layers from the biodiversity characterization project, and the sample grids that were used for collecting different species samples. So that grid, that 5 by 5 kilometer grid, is being populated here. So instead of showing the exact location of that particular species, we are showing that within this grid the species are occurring. So looking at this map, we can identify that particular species is available at these locations based on the sample plots that were collected during the field validation for generating those our biodiversity related layers. Again, if you go to the layer, there's an option of setting the opacity, so you can view the background map. And in case you want to view it over the vegetation map, you can simply change the layer, and then this is available. On the bottom, we have this others controls. So we have the mouse position control, and the scale, and the scale bar is available. For sharing this data for all the common people, the layers are published as a geographic lat-long, or we say in a technical term as 4326 kind of spatial reference identification, so that other people can also integrate in their different mashup kind of an application. Coming to the third feature, which is the chemicals. Again, same thing is you can know more about the chemical composition of different plants. This is very important for breeding kind of related kind of studies. So again, if you want to search for a chemical list, you can again use the search window on the left hand side, type the chemical name or click on search. You can also select a particular chemical list based on the first alphabetical letter. Similar to the species module, if I click on this particular chemical list, I will drill down for more information. For example, this chemical details was available in which of the journal papers was referred, and all those information is available in a single window. Again, I can click on derived chemicals and multimedia related kind of on the window, and then know about the other details. The next feature is the checklist. So it basically gives you the different identification done. For example, here we have a checklist for the birds of Karnataka. So if I click on this, I will get a detailed information about who has spotted what kind of species in the Karnataka place. The source is also mentioned on this URL, and also the name of the persons who are contributed in the sighting of those species that are mentioned in this page. Now this is a very specialized kind of information that is very useful for the people working in this area, so that they can know more about much of the details that are available. Even the attributed related information is also available on the bottom of this page. The next section is we call as a field guide. Now there are three kind of field guides that are available. One is Pathanga Suchya, other is Phyletus identification, and third is the Ratans. The first part is basically for the identification of the butterflies, and next one is for the plants, and the third is for the palms. So if I go to the first option, now here if you want to identify a particular bird, they have given kind of a checklist kind of an option. For example, if I spotted a particular butterfly, I don't know what is the name of those butterfly, other details, so I can use this identification kit and know about more detail about that particular butterfly that I have spotted. So I can click on the antenna and then say what kind of antenna it is that I have observed. So you can click one of those options. Then you can click on the color option and identify the wing color. Similarly, you can go to the other options, the wing patterns, and so on. And finally, it will show you a list of the different butterflies that match different criteria. So like this, you can narrow down to a particular butterfly that you have searched. Now, let me admit that I'm not an expert on this field, but maybe from technology point, I can maybe I can answer a lot of questions. But this is very specialized thing that people working in this area will be appreciating, that those kind of toolkits are available on the web, and then user don't require any other information. They can access this information over the web and then use it for maybe some kind of learning and other things. Similar is the case for other plants related thing, where we can narrow down based on the tree. So I can either identify a tree, a shrub, or a herb. Similar to pattern, if I click on the tree, I can if I want to know more about this, I have to click on the fruit option and find out, select the option saying whether the fruit size is less than 3 centimeter, what is the character of those fruit. Again, all the sorry, to assist the user, the photographs are also available, so that in case you have a confusion that can resolve the issue. Next, we can click on the leaf and identify from the type of the leaf that you observe what kind of leaf which match your criteria, and then other things. Similarly, if I click on search, a window will come here showing what are the different species that are available in our database that match this criteria. So this is again very useful for the researchers and other students who are working in this area, to serve as a kind of online tool where they can know more about the other details. So this is all about the IBIN. There are some sections like uses and other things are still under development. Similarly, for the toolkit, some of the tools are still under development, but slowly and maybe in some time these things will be also built in. The other thing that we are also looking into is maybe enriching more data sets. So apart from 5 bricks that I mentioned earlier, apart from the core, which is US Bangalore and IARS. So US Bangalore, as I mentioned, is providing the species related details, and IRS is providing the biodiversity related layers along with the sample spots. And then we have 5 the brick nodes, FRL HT. Then we have IHPT Palampur. Then we have Nehu from Shillong, and then A3 from Bangalore, and then the university which is providing the chromosomes related information.